Hello and a very warm welcome to the Real Talk on RTV. We do hope that you had a wonderful week. Thank you for sparing time to join us. Now, every year when the year is just beginning, I identify topics that I think we all should be talking about, and this time round, insurance was top of that list because we hear of insurance, but a lot of people, you talk about insurance and all they know is third party without even knowing the details. So I've invited a friend of mine who will break down things for us. We get an opportunity to know him and know more about insurance. My name is Jackie Lumbasi. Welcome to the show. Our guest is Derrick Kananura. He is an insurance advisor. It's good to see you, Derrick.
It's a pleasure being here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to Jackie.
Thank you for honoring our invitation, Derrick.
Thank you so much for
Tell us
having
about
me.
yourself. Before we get to work, let us get to know you, a little bit of your story, where you were born, your childhood.
Thank you so much. Well, I think it's going to be long. So I was born in... I was born in Rwanda, to be specific, Rwanda Hospital. I was actually born there. By then we were living within Chigabiro. It's one of the sectors in Ramagana. Yeah, so I believe grew up there, then went to school in Uganda.
How many children were you?
Well, I'm losing count. We are 6. We are 6 kids, and I am the firstborn of the 6.
Nice, yeah. That's such a young family.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
So then when you moved to Uganda, how old were you then?
So I had to move to Uganda to start school. I moved to Uganda when I was 7 to start school straight from primary 1.
Okay. Did you move alone or as the family?
I only went for school specifically.
One. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And how was that switch?
Well, at first, it was quite a tough one. Getting to a different country, you don't know the language, you're a kid. But I was just lucky that there was family there that sort of helped to get me to transition.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a good one. Yeah.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
Were you the kind of child that was playful, or did you keep to yourself? Were you mischievous?
I would think I wasn't playful. I was always the cautious one. I was always very cautious, making sure there's no one dirtying the house, there's no one, so sort of like that, laid back.
You still are a very cautious person.
Yeah, but I think
serious look.
No, it's actually fading a little bit as I grow older. Yeah.
And has fatherhood changed any of that?
Oh, I think that's a whole different sphere when you go to it.
Yeah.
Fatherhood sort of tries to bring out the playful side of you, and then tries to get you serious because now you're responsible for
trying to train someone in the right way.
Exactly. So I think knowing that you're responsible for this person entirely, their whole lives, that sort of changes a lot. Yeah. But I think it's quite an experience.
Yeah. What would you say is the most outstanding childhood memory that you have? If there's anything from back then that you can share with us. Well,
the most outstanding, I would say, is back in school. One of the schools I went to was, it's these schools that has got a different area of cultures, students from all over, and then, so we had some guys from South Sudan, and then when you meet them there, you sort of try to basically get to learn a lot of stuff from them. Yeah, you learn about them, you learn their language. So at one point, I was actually quite good in speaking their language, Arabic. I don't know if it is called Arabic. I got to learn a lot of it to the point that whenever I would go home, people would get confused and they're like, how
you were speaking it very well.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been more than 10 years. I've forgotten a lot of it, yeah.
But you still remember a few words?
Some of it I do.
Yeah.
I do speak it with some of the people that understand.
And do you remain in touch with those friends that
taught
you?
Yeah, we do. Up to today, I think we are in touch. Some of them actually come and visit in Rwanda, so I think we've maintained the relationships.
Yeah. Then the other later stages of your life.
So
When did you come back to
I was
Rwanda then?
actually, I would actually come back here for the long holidays. It's only the short ones that I would spend in Uganda.
Okay.
But the long ones I would come back to Rwanda and then be with my family, of course. It's only after high school that I moved here entirely, started working straight into the insurance industry, straight out of high school. That's when I entered the
You
industry.
didn't even go to university.
I went to university as I was
As
working.
you were
Yeah.
working. So how did you join insurance? Because if you're coming straight from high school,
Yeah.
some of us in high school are struggling to pass that exam.
Yeah.
You were thinking of insurance and got straight into it after that?
I don't think I was actually thinking about it. Growing up, I wanted so much to be a lawyer. I actually chose my subjects with law in mind. That was my target. Straight from high school, straight from senior 3 in Uganda,
Yeah.
you get to choose some subjects from senior 3. I actually chose literature because I wanted to do law. I chose history because I wanted to go into that line. And then insurance just happened because I was out of high school. I had a very long holiday where I was going to be so free. So I just saw it as an opening. And one of my aunties was already in the industry. So I just joined her. We started. I was basically like her assistant, and I got to learn a lot from her. So that's how I joined the industry. Yeah.
What was your first assignment?
Oh, so she was an agent, an insurance agent. That's an insurance advisor, but specifically tied to one insurance company. So one of the first tasks was getting to learn insurance products and be able to explain them to clients. So that gave me the biggest task. I was supposed to basically learn stuff from scratch. The only thing I knew about insurance was what we were taught in schools. You know, when they're teaching
was very
you.
basic.
Yeah, it was very basic.
Yeah.
The principles of insurance and all that. So here I was into the real world. I had to basically learn not just one product, every single insurance product that was on sale. I had to get to learn it and then come to a client, explain to them what are the pros and cons of this particular product, what are the suitable terms that you would have to get into your contract to be able to have a clean contract. So that was my first task, basically account management, straight from corporate accounts to retail accounts. I think it was a very good entry point.
Yeah. And so when you went to university, you then continued along that line.
So university, I realized you could learn a lot of things in insurance without needing
a course related to that.
The practical experience was much more enriching.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't need to do insurance again. I'll just go and do finance and accounting. So that's exactly what I went for in university. And then, but I kept working in insurance. So, but of course, learning finance, there's a sort of very, very tight.
They're related.
Exactly. They're so related. You basically get to practice what you love, insurance-wise, and then apply the financial principles to it.
Yeah. Now let us get to the gist of the conversation.
Yes.
Insurance is it's a topic. It's something that touches on our lives entirely. But then we rarely get sufficient information.
Information, yes.
And there are times when you converse with people and they say maybe it's intentional. That insurance service providers don't want to tell us enough, because if we get to know everything there is to know, then they'll be out of business. What has been your assessment? All the years you've spent in insurance, and in your opinion, what is insurance that matters?
Well,
that's a wide question.
It is very wide.
Go with it wherever you want, Derrick.
I'll first of all start with the side of the sort of general public opinion on insurance and what shapes that. One of the main things that shapes how the public perceives insurance is that there's a general lack of information, adequate information. So as insurance companies, when they are selling these products, they really do not have the sort of wide resources to be able to explain in details. You know, it takes manpower to be able to commit that time to a client. So the sort of going into the details, I know it is not deliberate on the insurance company's end, but insurance is very wide. So as the public, I think we ought to read more about it. And then when you're purchasing an insurance contract, you really need to ask a lot. I think that would help in driving a lot of information about insurance into the public. As an insurer, you're selling. They're selling. They are not committing time to explaining what they're selling. You come, you ask for motor insurance, an insurer will give you motor insurance without necessarily knowing that what you need is either motor insurance, third party only, or comprehensive. Or maybe material damage only. You don't need the theft part, you don't need the fire part. So those are the details that...
So what are some of the questions that someone should be asking? Because sometimes we don't ask because we do not know.
Yes, what to ask.
Yes, we don't know what to ask.
You're right. So one of the main things, let's say you're purchasing a motor insurance contract and you're going for comprehensive. Ask them, what is the excess on this policy? What is my contribution? Excess is your contribution on each claim. What is my contribution on the contract in case of an accident? You need to know that at the onset to be able to avert these issues of when you have a claim, now you're coming back and they're telling you things that sound alien in your mind. The other thing is, what are you covering me for? Is theft into the policy? Is fire into the policy? Third-party liability, material damage, general material damage? What are the exclusions? You need to know those straight from the onset. So such questions are what would trigger much deeper discussions with the insurer, yes, to be able to explain further to you and basically get more information on your contract to avert further incidences when you have a claim along the way.
Yeah. After someone has asked all those questions and they have bought, it's purchasing, a plan, or wherever, then there is an incident. Something happens and they're trying to claim claim or look for compensation. A lot of times problems come in there. At the point where you're just, like, for example, I've received my message and I'm being told your insurance is expiring on the 15th, so I am preparing myself to pay. But, and that is like the end of the relationship. Pay and I receive and that's it. When there's that accident, there's that fire, is when the insurance tells you, you get to learn that, oh, you're not getting this because of the other. I recently saw a message, somebody posted the fact that they had an accident, they were trying to be helped, and the insurer did not even respond to messages. It's been, Derrick, lots of problems. And I want us to try and address that. Because I know you've served different insurance companies, you've dealt with different insurance-related cases, but how do we avoid a situation where often at the end of the arrangement or at the point where a client is claiming is when insurers try to get out of it?
So it all comes back to the contract that you came into an agreement with the insurer at the onset of the policy. So if you analyzed, when you're purchasing a contract, please look through what are the clauses they are giving you. I know for the layman it might be complex to understand because of the sort of jargon that is used in these contracts, but always try to understand what is the excess, how do I claim, what is the claims process. And then one thing that I've noticed, especially from the cases that I handle, a lot of clients don't really understand that whatever information you give an insurer whenever you're making a claim is the same information they will use to reject your claim. If you give them information that basically portrays you as being negligent, They will use that information to refute a claim because you are being negligent in terms of when the claim materialized. When you're filling a form, make sure you're giving them information that is relevant to the case, to the incident. Make sure that you were the one driving, or maybe someone who was driving had a driving license. Attach the right documents so that maybe, if I may go back, an insurer's perspective, whenever they're handling a claim, their whole job revolves around looking for ways to avoid paying claims. That's their first. That's their first.
Avoiding it.
Yes, exactly. They look for ways.
Yes.
So make sure you're not giving them those loopholes. How? Fill a form clearly. If need be, please contact them. They are actually obligated to guide you through the process.
Okay.
Contact them. Make sure the information you're filling is correct. Make sure that whenever you have an accident, there is a police, let's say if it is on a public road, the police has come to take all these measurements, basically come up with their police report, because that is a very big basis when they're handling claims.
We cannot have a gentleman agreement with the person, the other person involved in the accident, and then I go to the insurer?
Unfortunately, no.
There has to be police presence.
Exactly. So
okay.
There has to be a third party that is not involved in the accident, and that third party happens to be a government organization,
okay.
which is the police, because there is usually this process of allocating liability. Who caused the accident? So insurers always pay out claims only if they are liable. So to be able to determine who was liable, the police has to come in. So make sure you have the police on site in case of an accident. I usually say, because I'm an insurance advisor, people may think I'm trying to put it there, but usually it's much more advised to always have an insurance advisor through the process, because we do understand you actually have a process to follow. You have certain requirements.
And sometimes you need
Exactly.
guidance.
You need guidance, guidance from the people that understand that jargon.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to the contract. If your contract says this, the claims process, make sure you're within that, within those limits of the contract.
Yeah.
So,
let's talk about striking a balance between adequate coverage and affordability.
yes. So insurance in Rwanda is at a point where we are struggling with sort of uptake. And one of the hindrances is affordability. So much as we are trying to make sure that people are coming on board for insurance, we want to also make sure that they are getting the right coverage. So the right coverage is you as a person, as a business owner, as an individual, you know what your risk exposure is. Your risk exposure can be, I've got a house, what is the value of my house? So make sure that you get your house valued. That's for the case of property insurance. Get your house valued, get your car valued, so that you're able to actually say, I'm taking out this insurance, but it's covering this amount because I've gotten it valued by these approved property valuers. So as an individual, sit back, look at what your risk exposure is. As a business, you've got an asset register. Look at what your asset register has. If your asset register has 2 billions, insure 2 billions. Because at the end of the day, if you insure less than 2 billions, and at the time of a claim, the insurer does their investigations, and they find you had more than 2 billions, you insured 1 billion, they will penalize you for underinsurance.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so
oh,
it comes down to you as an individual being honest with yourself. You've got this exposure, let me cover that. The other thing is, as you're taking out the cover, especially for other risks that may not be very easy to value, speak to the insurer. Tell them what you're looking at, what you actually need the insurance for. They will be able to tell you, we would advise you to take out this amount of coverage, basing from the discussion you've had. So it comes down to you as an individual taking the first step, and making sure that you're good at assessing your own risk. Yeah.
And transparent.
Exactly, transparency.
You've got to be
because at the end of
transparent.
the day, they'll come back to your asset register. They'll come back to your exposure, even if you may not have put it forward at the onset.
Yeah. Thank you, Derrick. We're taking a short break. We will be back. When we return, we will look at the different policies and also get Derrick's opinion on what would be the basic policies that you as a beginner should buy. This is The Real Talk, coming to you from Mithus Boutique Hotel in Kiovu. Thank you so much for joining us on The Real Talk, and please do share the link to our YouTube channel with your friends and family. We want as many people as possible to get to learn something about insurance. As you get to a stage where you've got to buy a policy, we want you to do that from an informed position. And don't be there thinking that maybe this conversation is not mine. No way. It will touch on you at some point, whether you like it or not. Derrick, let us talk about policies that you think, especially for a beginner, somebody who's there and they do not know much about insurance, but they're being told for you to own a car, you have to buy insurance. For you to start a business, a kiosk, you have to have insurance. Yes, let's talk to such a person.
I would like to think that the first and most important policy that I think everyone should take out is life insurance. Life insurance is, so today you can afford a certain standard of life. Your family affords a certain standard of life because you have an income. And much as most of the families today have got the different people working and bringing in income, but as the main breadwinner, if today, God forbid, you passed on, where are you leaving your family? So I look at life insurance as the main and most important policy that one can take out. That basically covers if today you pass on, there's a certain amount, depending on what you buy, there's a certain amount that gets paid out to your family, basically to give them a stepping stone. If your spouse basically can start a business with the money.
Life insurance is me saving for the people I will leave behind.
Exactly.
When I am gone.
Yes, to be able to afford them the same standard of living that.
It has nothing to do with in between. No. If I get an accident, I cannot.
So it can have all those components, but the main cover is your funeral, basically the death benefit. But you can basically tailor it to include disability, to include chronic illnesses, to include loss of income. Let's say you've lost your job. If you're retrenched, as you've seen during the COVID period, there were so many people that lost their jobs. So basically that cover comes in to give you a sort of buffer to get you up to speed as you try to look for other sources. But the main benefit is being able to leave your family in a certain position where they can be able to take care of themselves.
Is it an expensive policy? Because as we said, one of the hindrances is affordability.
Yes. So one of the best thing about this particular cover is that it's dependent on your age bracket. So the younger you are, the cheaper it is. The older you are, so it gets...
Mine will be very expensive.
Not really. The other component that they use is depending on how much of coverage you're taking out. Let's say if you're taking out more than 200 millions, they may request you to undergo some medical examinations. So if you're healthy, your premiums are lower. If you're unhealthy, your premiums are higher, because the probability of the risk materializing then goes up depending on how your health is faring. I always encourage my peers to buy it as soon as they can, because whenever you're still young, it's easier. It's easier to grow old on the cover than to buy it when you're old. It's much more expensive then. The other cover I would think is peripheral is health insurance. We've got insurance companies here that offer retail health products. You can purchase it for your family, or you as an individual. even when you do not have a family. You can buy the cover basically to cover yourself, because, I mean, you can't prepare for a health disaster. So those are the two main covers that I think are peripheral to one's life.
Life insurance,
Yes,
and health insurance.
yes. The rest of the covers, most of the cases, they are mandatory. Motor vehicle insurance, third party, is mandatory, so that you cannot escape it. You usually have to buy it.
And a lot of people buy for the sake of buying.
Exactly.
As you said, we don't even care to go into details. You say third party, I will have to confess, I don't even know what third party means. I studied about it in school. I didn't grasp it. And I think it's very bad that I'll say I have signed a contract without necessarily reading it, you know? So you find yourself in a situation that needs you to be knowledgeable, and you lose out because you just didn't know what third party meant in this case.
So maybe because it is the most common one, I may expound on it.
Please expound on it,
So third party, just like it says, it covers third parties that you may cause losses to. Let's say you're on the road, you hit a motorbike, and you're the one at fault. You're the one who caused the accident. Then that motorbike that you've hit is the third party. So they cover whatever losses he has incurred. Be it bodily injury, be it material damage. Let's say his motorcycle is spoiled. Your insurance policy covers that. And then if he's, God forbid, he loses an arm or a leg, the insurance company covers whatever compensation is supposed to go towards him. Even the medical expenses that are involved, all those are covered under third party. So the difference between the third party and the comprehensive part, the third party alone covers other people. Then the comprehensive,
not me,
not you, not whatever damages your vehicle may experience, or
the damages I may experience,
the bodily
injuries.
The body injury for you as the driver is covered, and the occupants.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But material damage of your vehicle, not covered.
Not covered.
So the comprehensive part is the one that brings in the material damage part for you as the one that is at fault. If your vehicle is destroyed during the accident, it is covered, plus any other person to whom you've caused losses. So that's the difference. But the most common one is third party. Yeah.
And yet, it's also like the cheapest. Third party is
what
makes it more affordable than comprehensive. And yet, I would think such cases are more common.
Yeah.
Where one knocks the other, and their third party insurance has to cover the damages on the other side.
Yes. So what makes it cheaper is that the probability that you're the one causing the accident is very low. There is usually a high chance that it's the other party that is causing the loss to you. So that's why it's cheap. But the other reason is also that it is a mandatory product. So it has to be as affordable as possible for everyone to buy it, to access it. In Rwanda, third-party liability is still unlimited. You can basically knock down a house of 200 millions and the insurance company will pay the 200 million.
Interesting.
Yes. So it is affordable compared to what it actually affords you in terms of coverage. Yeah. But the comprehensive part, why it's expensive is it all depends on your vehicle might be expensive. So it's basically, it corresponds to your vehicle's value and the fact that in whatever accident you will get involved, the insurer will have to pay. There's basically, even if they will still go and recover the money from the aggravating party,
they
still have to pay. Yes. So that's why most of the times material damage coverage is always expensive.
And I think for comprehensive again, if during the time, if for example your vehicle needs to be repaired, it's almost completely written off, they give you a vehicle to use in the interim.
So that was the practice before, but currently compliance-wise, it's not allowed unless the insurer charges a premium for it. So you can actually ask your insurer to charge you a premium for that peripheral, and then it gets added onto your cover. Basically, you're involved in an accident, the insurer gives you a car within the same class as what you are driving to be able to drive around as they conclude the repair. But they will charge a premium for it.
So previously that used to be the case. What happened then?
That used to be the case.
Because I think it's still the same in the other East African countries.
In other countries, yes.
Yeah.
But what happened is before, insurers were not charging for it. So you find risk-wise, they're taking on risks that they're not charging a premium for. And that got them into a lot of losses.
Oh, because if you happen to be using that car they've given you, and then you get involved in an accident, they'll have two cars to,
They'll have two cars to repair, and most of the times insurers don't have those cars laying around. They always have to rent them. So that's an extra cost. So that's why they sort of resorted to being able to charge a premium related to that extra benefit that they give you. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. What is the role that technology is playing, or what role can it play in making insurance more accessible and user-friendly?
Thank you so much. It's that has been quite a dilemma within the insurance industry. We've really stayed so traditional for too long. So analog for too long.
Yeah.
But as the rest of the financial industry evolves, banking is evolving. So we find ourselves lagging behind, but there's a lot that technology can accomplish insurance-wise, be it in cutting down the costs of distribution. Right now, every insurance company needs to have a branch in a certain area to be able to access clientele. But in recent times, there's been quite a very big shift. A lot of these insurance companies are selling these products online. You can basically get your phone, go to the USSD, buy your vehicle's insurance without going into
anyone's
So the impact
office
comes down to reduced costs, because if the distribution is cheaper, then the cost of the product is cheaper, and inclusivity as well for people that may not be situated in areas where they have branches. I can basically sit back wherever I am and be able to purchase the insurance policy. It has also helped insurance companies to innovate, because most of the products that we had before could not really be digitized easily because of the parametrics in terms of risk analysis and all that. So they've had to come up with products that take into consideration that all the risk analysis has to be done digitally. So that sort of drives innovation as well.
What, in your opinion, would you say are the demographics that are currently underserved? Looking at our country?
I would say the low-income earners are really, that's a demographic that is underserved. The SMEs, the SME sphere is also quite underserved. You find if I've got my small shop down in Chichuchiro, I may not have the right product that is covering me. That is where most of the insurance companies are going in now to innovate and try to bring up products that cover SMEs, products that cover basically micro-insurance products. And we've got a lot of stakeholders coming in to push that innovation to basically create products that serve the low-income earners, the farmer down in the village, to be able to insure their crops. So those are the kinds of products that are coming up to serve those demographics, the two demographics, SMEs and MSMEs, and the low-income earners.
How about the ones in the informal sector?
Exactly. The informal sector is quite underserved. Most of the products that we had on the market were in English or in French. You give someone a contract, like you said, even people that are literate do not really read the contract. So to give the same contract to someone that is not so literate was an issue. But we are seeing a sort of evolution, even if it is still on the low end. But I believe there are so many efforts that are geared towards making sure that those micro products, those products that are easy to explain to the uneducated populace, be able to get to the market as well.
Easy to explain and also affordable, because I imagine
yes.
we have a construction site
Yes.
just across this building. The owner of that building has insured it as the construction goes on. I wonder if it's mandatory for them to insure the people that are working on it. And then if that person is being paid 2,000 or 3,000 francs per day, do you have something that is within their range? Because indeed they also find they've got mutuelle, but they need other products that that can help them in time of need.
Yeah. So we've got micro insurance companies now. It's something that is being driven straight from the regulator. We now have about I think there are two micro insurance companies that are specifically tailoring products to the low income earners. That person that earns 2,000, that earns 3,000 a day, they can
and is working for different people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So as an individual, you can purchase the product. As a group, we've got cooperatives and all that.
Yes.
So they can be able to band themselves
That's
up in a cooperative and purchase the product straight from the micro insurance company. Premiums are ranging, it's very affordable. Some premiums range from 200 francs, 300 francs, 500, depending on the product you're purchasing. But basically, the micro insurance products are geared towards that particular demographic.
And they have some friendly payment.
Yeah, payment modalities. You can pay every day.
Oh, okay.
You can pay straight from your phone, pay the insurance company every single day, or you can do it weekly. Yeah. So it's much more easier now compared to the rest of the periods before.
Yeah. Financial literacy, that's a big problem.
It is a big gap.
It's a big gap. What are you doing to close that gap?
So insurance companies now, not just insurance companies, even us as insurance advisors, we are really doing a lot in terms of, if I meet you as a client, I will want to explain every single product to you directly. So I take the time, be able to elaborate, this product covers this product does this. But of course, we cannot really exhaust the gap that is existing. There's been a push. Most insurance companies never used to have programs that are aimed towards educating the masses about their products. But now we are seeing a very high influx in these programs with different media houses. So I think as we go forward, it's something that, especially this year, the digital channels are also improving. So we are trying to exploit those to be able to get the information out there. But of course, it all comes down to how much effort insurance companies, insurance players are putting in to be able to get information out there. But I believe it's on track with the digital transformation that is ongoing. I think the insurance industry will also take advantage of that.
So the insurance industry could have some few people that are crooked and rush it. How does one identify an insurer who's not honest? And what are those things to put in place in order to ensure that you're not giving your money to someone who will abandon you?
I would advise that before you purchase an insurance product from one particular insurer, please seek out some reviews from people that already have the same insurance product. Get to have their feedback as to how their experience has been. The other thing is, as you're purchasing around, please get quotations from different insurers. Look at what they are offering. Look at what this one is giving you. This person might be giving you a low cost, but basically no coverage.
That's interesting.
Exactly.
So you might go for it because it's low, but then there's no coverage.
So you need to look at what is he offering me at what price? What is this one offering me at what price? What are the terms? Because usually contracts have the terms as well. So make sure you analyze those. Use an advisor, use an intermediary to be able to, because they usually know which insurer performs well on which products, which insurer doesn't perform well on a certain product. So I may have an insurance company that performs well on motor insurance, but doesn't perform well on assets, on other assets. So that's those sort of particulars that you need to know. Shop around. Don't settle for one quotation. Shop around. Get to 3, 4, 5 insurers. We've got around 8 or 9 insurers in the market. So make sure you shop around, look at what terms they are giving you, get reviews. Reviews.
It's important.
Because I think that's the most honest sort of feedback you can get.
And do the prices vary a lot, or is there some standard?
So depending on the product, motor insurance pricing has been harmonized. Most of the times you'll find it uniform. But of course, you need to get reviews on how that insurer is performing on motor insurance. The rest of the products have got pricing that is usually not very varying. One insurer might be low a little bit by a very small percentage, but they're usually within the same range.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on the product. Some products, because some insurers may not have the appetite for that particular risk, so they may price it so highly. So go to different insurers, make sure you look at the pricing, but don't usually use pricing as the basis for a decision.
Yeah.
Look at what they are giving
Look
you
at what
as
they're
coverage.
offering you, yes, the product. So recently there's this issue that you and I saw online, and someone was complaining about being at a hospital, they had an emergency. And of course, our hospitals, unfortunately, once you go in and you have an insurance card, they don't start working on you immediately. They have to make calls. And this person waited from midnight until 3 a.m. Now imagine if the case was that serious, they would have lost their person. It just got me wondering, thinking, do insurance companies work 24/7? Is that one of the questions that someone should ask when they are buying a policy?
Exactly.
And who do they hold liable? For example, if this case had gotten out of hand, who was going to be held responsible? Was it the insurance company for not answering, or was it the hospital for not attending to someone, and yet they could see it was an emergency?
So when I saw the case, I was actually shocked. Insurance companies and hospitals have got agreements under which they operate. So depending on the agreement that they've basically come to, I think the terms in there may have necessitated the waiting period. But usually insurance companies, especially those that deal with health insurance, they usually work 24/7. The same way an insurance advisor that handles health insurance has to work 24/7, because you're dealing with a person's life. So most insurance companies today have, even the ones that don't do health insurance, have adopted the culture of making sure that there's someone that is there to assist 24/7. They work in shifts, they provide those toll-free lines to be able to answer queries. But in this particular case, the insurance company would have been liable, because I'm guessing they may have provided such guidelines that you have to contact us for approval on such a particular case. So that shouldn't be the practice, because usually a person's health should come first.
That's the thing.
I think it's something that has to gradually change.
We're almost going to 6Qs, Derrick, but before that, what are those insurance trends that we need to look out for in this new year?
Well, for the insurance trends, I think we need to look out for innovation. As the market evolves, there's a lot of competition. There's new entrants into the industry. New insurance companies are coming up. So I think there's going to be a lot of competition, which breeds innovation, which is a plus for us as consumers, but also as industry players. The other thing is there's an evolution of risk. The recent cases, cyber risks that materialized in our neighboring countries, the denial of service attacks, those are going to inform the way insurance companies now respond to particular covers, the pricing of certain covers. So those are some of the particular trends. The other thing is microinsurance is really at the forefront. There are a lot of players, a lot of stakeholders are pushing for the inclusivity in insurance.
Fantastic.
So I think we are going to look at very, very wide products that are coming up for basically microinsurance to be able to include all the demographics of the population. We also need to look out for how the financial industry grows. As our economy is growing, I think insurance companies are also growing, because the more the economy grows, the more there is a lot of risk to cover. So that is one trend we are looking forward to. 2023 was a very good year for a lot of insurance companies, for the whole insurance industry in general. So I think it's something that is going to drive us forward going forward. Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look at Derrick's 6 Qs. But at this point, I just want to remind you that if you have a question or a comment, you've learned something and you want Derrick to expound on it, he's online. You go there. When you see the post on Real Talk, Derrick is tagged. Ask your question. He's an insurance advisor. He will respond to that. 6 Qs, Derrick. What word best describes you? One word.
Oh, ambitious.
Ooh, that's a good one. Then what wouldn't you leave your house without?
My laptop.
Not even the phone, the laptop.
My laptop.
A lot of people say the phone. But anyway, these two serve almost the same purpose. But indeed for you, it means your entire world is there. And then what is your favorite hobby?
Cycling, much as I've not done a lot of it recently. Yeah.
Number 4, what is the first thing that you do in the morning when you wake up?
Unfortunately, I first check my phone.
That's a habit you need to cut. Then what are you enjoying most as a father? How old is your girl?
Oh, she's actually turning 9 months on the 4th. Today is 4th, right? Yeah, today. She's turning 9 months.
Okay. She has turned. Yeah. It will run after 9 months. So say she has just turned.
She has just turned 9 months.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you enjoying most about fatherhood?
Oh my God. The challenge to actually keep up with her energy now. You leave work, you're tired.
9 months, they're energetic.
Yeah, they're energetic. So you have to keep up. Just basically being a father is the most amazing thing.
And you're a hands-on father.
Exactly, yeah. I try to be, as long as I'm at home, I try to be. I'm on holiday, I want to be. So that's, it's been something that is so joyful, yeah. Wonderful.
And lastly, what would you say to 20-year-old Derrick?
Oh my God. The main thing I would tell him, just keep pushing. Keep pushing. Because 20 years ago, I honestly had no prospects of being where we are today. So
yes,
yeah,
I'd say
keep pushing. Yeah.
Things do happen.
Yeah.
But for those that push.
Yeah.
Derrick, thank you for making time to join us.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure
hosting you. For having me.
Thank you. Thank you for watching The Real Talk. As we said earlier, the question or the topic of insurance is one that we rarely sit down to discuss. Even within this room, my colleagues here, some of them have said, I am clueless about insurance, and that could be you. So we hope that you've learned something from this interview, but let us keep the conversation going. If you have a question, don't shy away. Ask. Derrick will respond to you. He's an insurance advisor. That is what he enjoys to do more, so don't shy away from asking those questions. And kindly share the link to this interview so that we have as many people as possible watching the conversation. It has been a pleasure having you. May God bless you.